Hi, I'm Tom Henriksen from the Agile Online Summit, where we bring great Agilists to the world. And welcome to our Community Spotlight, where we shine the light on the great Agile communities that promote the summit. Today we have with us Joe Astolfi from the Central Ohio Agile Association. Joe, introduce yourself to the people here at the Agile Online Summit.
Hi, Tom, and thanks for having me. Yep, as you said, I'm Joe Astolfi. I'm the Vice Chair and a board member with the Central Ohio Agile Association, also known to many as COHAA, and we're here in Columbus, Ohio.
Excellent, excellent. So, Joe, how long have you been involved with COHAA yourself?
Yeah, I've been involved. I started so COHAA started in 2009. It actually started as a brainchild in 2008, but became official in 2009. And I started with the organization in 2009 as a volunteer, and then became a board member and the vice chair in 2010. Was elected. So I've been involved just after the inception, and it's been a fun ride to watch not only the organization grow, but also the Agile community in and around the Central Ohio area grow.
Yeah, you guys are in a really good spot there. You have access, I'm sure, to a lot of different people coming from different areas. So, Joe, tell us a little bit about what kind of things your community does.
The pandemic has changed things quite a bit, as you can imagine. I'm sure they have in your community too. But some of the things we've done is we've had monthly evening events for our members. So those have all been in person, where we bring in some guest speakers, panelists, and that type of thing on Agile topics. We do bi-weekly morning Agile coaching circles for people to gather their coaching tips and stories. We've done day in the life tours, where we go about to Agile organizations and tour their facilities and hear about their stories. We've done some lunchtime events, much the same thing. We also work with some other organizations in the area to co-sponsor events and cross-promote events, so that we send our members to their events. We have some other conferences like DevOps Days that we cross-promote. And then we have an annual conference here in town called the Path to Agility. It's a 2-day Agile conference where we bring in not just people from Central Ohio, but from around the region and from actually across the U.S. And some folks in Canada to attend that event. And we bring in international speakers as well to come to Columbus and see what we're about and interact with our community. So yeah, it's quite interesting bunch of events we host, and we actually do a lot of cross promotion too with some of our sister organizations. Like we've done some things with Agile Indy and with Agile Cincy, and with some of the Agile folks in Cleveland as well too. Because we're all friends, we all know each other, and so we attempt to try to attend either each other's events, or if we know things are happening, try to do some cross promotion as well to just leverage each other and share our knowledge and our events.
Awesome. Yeah, I've heard of the Path to Agility conference from, I know Ryan Ripley has been there a few times, and he's talked about it on his podcast, Agile for Humans. So I've heard great things about that. So that's quite the event.
Yeah, Ryan's a friend of the event and a friend of COHAA, and his sessions are always quite popular at our conference. So we love having him, and he's always quite fun to have, and a great person to just interact with the community. So and that's you're around a lot of Agilists and people in the Agile community, and that's how it is, right? People really devote their time. They're very helpful. They love to interact with others. They love to share what they know, and they're very giving, and that's really true. So we leverage that, and we share as much as we can. Most of our events are free. The only thing we charge for is that conference, and that's mostly to pay for it. We're a nonprofit, 501c6, so everything we do goes right back to our events. All of us are volunteers. We make zero money off of this. We volunteer our time, and every dollar we make off that conference registration goes right back to our community events.
Yeah, that's really great, Joe. Now, Joe, I want to ask you, kind of pick your brain for all the other community facilitators out there. What types of tips do you have for other community facilitators out there that might be trying to, build up maybe things like you guys are doing in Central Ohio?
Yeah. So a few things. And one of my favorite tips, I guess, is steal stuff, right? So, right, other people do this, right? We're not forging any new territory here. And one of the things I do is I go mostly to the big Agile Alliance conference every year. I go almost every year. And so I do that for a couple reasons. One is to learn myself personally, but also as a conference organizer and a community organizer, I go to see what they're doing on the grand scale and see what we can bring back. And from a number of ways, what can we do in our conference, in our community, that they're doing in a larger scale? Because they're pulling internationally all these ideas. So, right, what can we learn from them? But also, who can I meet there that we can learn from, and who can we invite to our community, right? Yeah. So, we brought Johanna Rothman, Christopher Avery, Esther Derby. I mean, Esther's doing an event for us next Tuesday evening, awesome. Virtually. Dave West, right? All these people that we've met at the big show. They're coming to Columbus, right, and doing stuff with us because we've forged relationships and friendships with them. So one, we've gone to Agile Indy and Cincy, and and we've learned from them. Agile and Beyond in Michigan is another one that we're friends of. So we all learn from each other, right? So go to these other events, learn what they're doing, pick their brains, look, find out who their organizers are, see what works for them. So that's one thing I've done. The other thing is getting a regular cadence with your audience. I would say we haven't done as good a job since the pandemic, right? Everyone's focused on themselves and their own well-being, if you will. I think that's natural to do. We were in a real good cadence with our community. We've gotten a little bit out of that, and we're starting to get back into some rhythm now. But we were such an in-person type organization. Now we're reworking things virtually. So a good cadence and a good rhythm where you engage your community is really important. So they know, hey, they're going to send me an email every month, or I'm going to see a tweet, every 3 days. Yep. And then find out what's working. So if you can run some analytics on your social media channels, find out what's working. Like I can tell you, LinkedIn gets some good press for us. Twitter gets good hits for us. Facebook, not so much, right? Yeah. Facebook doesn't do well for us. I mean, some people are very active on it, but it's very few. I mean, most people are engaging us through LinkedIn and Twitter. Yeah. So know what works for you, and really use those. I'd say those. And then the other feedback is make sure at all of your events you're getting feedback from the people that attend those events. What did they like about it? What don't they like about it? And what topics do they want to learn about? Right. And that's the other thing I learned at the Big Agile Alliance conference and these other conferences. What are they talking about, right? And let's talk about those things in Central Ohio, right? Let's bring these cutting edge topics and what people are doing to our community. So we're bringing fresh ideas and not talking about, well, how do you build a high performing team? Well, we've talked about that for 20 years. Let's talk about something new. Not that that's still not important, right? But let's bring some new concepts.
Yeah, very good stuff. Very good stuff. Now, Joe, you kind of alluded to this a little bit, but we're living in some interesting times here through a pandemic. You talked about a little bit of you've made some changes, but talk to us a little bit more. What types of things have you guys had to do? It sounds like you had to kind of come back and get to that cadence, but what other types of things to really help, keep the group together during these, kind of crazy times we live in?
Yeah, so we've gone all virtual. I mean, even our board, we have monthly board meetings. They were always in person. I mean, we really believed in being in person, right? That face-to-face communication. We practiced it ourselves. and none of us wanted to ever call into a board meeting. And so going virtual was tough. And so we've done it though. We use video calling to do that now. So we've started that. We started to do our events virtually. We did cancel our conference for the first time in now over 10 years. It was going to be our 11th year, and the first time we didn't have it because we couldn't have it in person and too soon to pull it off virtually, right? So so we didn't think it would be fair to our attendees. So we had to postpone that, but yeah, like our coaching circle has gone virtual, but it's actually been a pleasant surprise, because where we had everything in person before, that meant that people only from Central Ohio could join those, and only people that could physically get to those events in those time frames could get there.
Yeah.
But what we're seeing now is, for example, the coaching circle, people from the UK and from the Netherlands have joined, right? Which has been really cool, because now we get these different perspectives, and people who have never been exposed to our community, nor have we been exposed to them, right, are now joining these events. So we've actually had this really great side benefit in the midst of this really unfortunate pandemic. So yeah, and now we've started planning for our conference next year in 2021. We've actually started talking about, not really planning, but we don't know what the pandemic's going to bring, right? In May of next year, when our conference happens, it always happens the Wednesday and Thursday before Memorial Day. Mm-hmm. And so, we're starting to talk, can we pull this off virtual, right? And so we're starting those discussions now about how do we go about planning for this thing, because we really don't want to not have this for our community again next year.
Yeah, that's important. That's important. Joe, you've really shared a lot with us. Any closing thoughts?
Just that, the most important thing, I mean, we're all Agilists. I just hope everyone is staying safe and healthy, right? That's the most important thing. Take care of yourself and your family. Yeah. But also, I think a lot of what we do on our day-to-day in our practice, we can just extend to what we do every day, and that's be compassionate and continuously improve and continuously assume positive intent with everyone, right? And forgive ourselves for not being our best some days, right? These are tough days, right? And we've done it with our community. It's like we know as a board and as COHAA, we haven't been the organization we've been in the past because of the pandemic, and you know what? That's okay, right? We're in unprecedented times. Yeah. But we're coming back, right? We're getting our momentum again, as other people are, and we'll all get through this together. And when we emerge and things get back to whatever the new normal is, we're going to be there as you are, and you're all the rest of us. So I'd say everyone keep going, right? Keep at it, and we'll all get through this together, and we'll keep being agile together.
That's right. Thanks so much, Joe.
Yeah, thanks, Tom. I really appreciate you having me here.
On behalf of Joe Astolfi, I am Tom Hendrickson for the Agile Online Summit.